time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Heersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. I know we're a few days early, but still it's Father's Day weekend. And I think personally that the fathers should have an entire weekend, not just one day. Same goes for the mothers out there. Same goes for a lot of these holidays, as I like to stretch them out, right? Make them not just the one day, but much like Christmas or I don't know, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Independence Day. We should have entire weekends with these days. That's just my opinion. So anyway, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Today's guest on the podcast has been here before, and somebody that I thought was fitting that should be on here for the Father's Day edition, Father's Day episode of the podcast. It's been a long time since I've had my brother Sam on the program. So he used to come on here regularly for a while, and then he got very busy, and maybe he'll fill you in on all that. But I thought it would be great to bring him on and talk about our dad, talk about our father, Dave Heersema, who is infamous down around Care Youth League and Rio Hondo Prep and such. We got to see him and some of his family, extended family last week. That was a lot of fun. And we'll be seeing him this Sunday, of course, for our Father's Day celebration. But I thought, you know what, let's get Sam on here and let's talk about our dear old dad, talk about some of the fun memories, some of the dad discipline that he's bestowed upon us over the years. Sam, a lot more than I, of course. And maybe just some funny stories, some good memories, and just an opportunity to say thank you. You know, us men, it's hard for us to express our emotion at times and to get guys gifts and things. But I think for the most part, a lot of times it's just us guys, even to our fathers and our fathers to us as we get older. It's just like, hey, that slap on the back or making fun of each other. That is my Valerie. She's around all the time, and she sees how me, my brother, and my dad interact amongst each other, and she just cannot believe it. She grew up with all sisters, and her, you know, her poor dad was the solo guy there, and our poor mom was the solo woman in our house. And so I just can't wait to talk with my brother. It's been a long time. We haven't chatted. Man, the Rams have won the Super Bowl since then. I've switched my work schedule to mornings. I've moved to Covina. A lot of things have changed since Sam was last on here, and I'll try to figure out when that last was. But anyway, I don't want to waste any more time. Happy Father's Day to everyone. I hope as you're listening to this on Friday, that the steaks are marinating, right? That's when you put the seasoning on, get the meat, you know, get it out. If you defrost it, froze it or whatever, if you get fresh meat, get it nice and ready to go, massage it, throw that seasoning on there here on Friday. Saturday, maybe check on it. And then of course, Sunday, it's game on, right? Tri-tip, definitely amongst the Heersema men is one of our favorites. But whatever you're cooking up this weekend, I hope it's a lot of food and nice red meat or whatever floats your boat, really. And sometimes it's interesting. Father's Day, does dad man the grill? Do you cook for dad? How does that work? There's not a wrong answer, I guess. Usually, even though it's dad's day, we still kind of put him to work, right? Because it's like he wears the crown. He wears the barbecue crown, as he should. And so if you're going to barbecue any day of the year, I think Father's Day is definitely one. So we'll be doing that this weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. But right now, let's bring on my one and only brother, Sam Heersema, for another appearance on the Get Home Safe podcast as we talk Father's Day, and especially our old man, Dave Heersema. Okay, joining me now live from Westminster, California, way down south in Orange County, not too far from the ocean, is my one and only brother, Sam Heersema. What's up, brother? It's been almost a year since you've been on this podcast.
Yeah, it's been about 10, 11 months or something like that. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here, man. And, I know we're both doing this right now. So cheers.
Cheers, my brother. Cheers, my brother. This is to the world champion Los Angeles Rams. We've been celebrating that for a few months now. It may never happen again, so we need to enjoy it. But this is also a happy Father's Day to our old man, David Allen Heersema.
Yes, happy Father's Day to the greatest man I've ever known. But yeah, as far as the Rams go, like yeah, they're due every 20 to 25 years. So I'll be 50 in my 50s by then.
We should all hope we make it that far, right? We're at the mid. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, Sam, you're coming from your bunker there in Orange County. Looks like you're locked and loaded. You got a map of the world and whiskey in your hands. You also look like the American Sniper there, Chris Kyle, with your hat and beard. I mean, what else could you? And you're on this podcast here. What else could you possibly need?
Well, I can actually be an American Sniper. That would be fantastic. But it's a painting that my lady gave me, and I saw a map of the world, and I was just like, well, I'll take it. There's only one country that really matters, but
What are these other ones doing here? Just push them off to the side. I can see. Oh boy, that's hilarious. Yes, we are definitely like-minded individuals as well. Sam, a lot of big changes to the podcast since we last spoke. I mean, I moved here back to dreaded LA County, unfortunately, but kind of back where our parents grew up in Covina, where I lived once before, and now got new logos and everything with the podcast. What do you think of me moving back out to where our family heritage is from, and then also what the big changes with the podcast?
That's great that you moved out there, because now if I visit Dad, I can visit both of you.
There you go.
I don't got to choose anymore. But but yeah, I'm sad for you to be back in LA County. There's a huge difference between even just LA and Orange County. It's going back and forth between those counties is very different. Like it's like mask, no mask, but now it's mostly no mask. But good for you, man.
You can feel the freedom as you cross those state lines. I don't think it's quite like the Rio Grande, but still, as you're driving that 57 or you're driving past that 15 freeway going east, I mean, you feel the freedom as you're crossing these counties for sure. At least for us prisoners here in Los Angeles County.
Yeah, in Orange County, it's not. It's been laxed for 8 to 10 months. It's been lax since the last time I was on the podcast, pretty much.
Where do they put all the body bags?
Oh, I don't know. I can't tell. I drive on the 405 freeway every day. There's no lack of people here.
No, I remember for the past few years, the times you've been on here, we've talked about your freeway, freeway freedom, just driving to work, loving life. You were the only one during the pandemic, scandemic, whatever you want to call it, that actually enjoyed it because there was no traffic for you ever.
It was the best. For like 6 months, it was 2-day work weeks. People may have been dying, may have not been dying, but I digress. And like traffic, like you actually had real time. Like they talked about that on the, there was somebody, I can't remember who it was, but they talked about it on the Joe Rogan podcast about how during the pandemic, they actually drove in between cities to see what the real time was. The real time was in between cities, as opposed to like right now it takes me about an hour to drive 15 miles. And during the pandemic, I talked to my lady and she was like, oh yeah, she's down the street. She was like, yeah, it took like 15 minutes.
Wow. No, it's been cool for me moving back this way. Now I drive Uber and Lyft, so I'm all over the place anyway, but to be able to go to work now in the mornings, for me being an early riser when I was working nights for so long, it's great. It's a 9-mile drive, no freeways needed. Still, I plan for about 20-25 minutes, just because you never know what may happen. But no, it's been nice living out here for those reasons. Our place is it's charming, we'll say. It has some amenities it's missing, but ultimately you got the kitchen, you got the fridge, you got the TV, couple TVs, a place to cook, a place to put your beverages, and a place to watch your games. That's all us men really need, right?
Yeah, I mean, touche. You guys have more of a place that I could get by myself. I'll tell you that much. Doesn't matter if it's LA County, Riverside County, or Orange County. I'm living in a fucking closet right now. Oh, sorry. I was trying not to swear on this podcast, but
Now I got to put just for you listeners out there now. So it's taken me over 300 episodes to realize that I can push an explicit button at the bottom of the podcast instead of having to do the announcement before. So if you see the big orange E, just you can expect one of two things. You'll either hear swear words or my brother is on. So it's probably both.
Well, now I'm good. Now I'm good to go. I'm good to go between now I can do whatever I want between me and Bill Barnes.
Yeah.
Like, we got to go on special. And I even got the Bill Barnes special, a little bit more hair than you and him, but
yeah, well, this is like 2 days worth. I went all the way finally, Sam, and I shave it with my little school shaver thing. And so I go pretty much high and tight now, all skin. And hey, we have that Monzingo blood in us where our dad's side of the family, where most people lose their hair. So I said, why not? Why wait till I'm 40? Let's just do it now.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. And then we went to that family get together last weekend, and he'd be great uncle, right? Great Uncle John.
Great Uncle John. Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to say, like, it's a little late. It took us a while to get the whole family together, but I'd like to say, rest in peace, good sir. Thank you for dealing with my father as a child, and Godspeed.
Yeah, amen. And he was a professor at North Dakota State University up in Fargo. I got to visit him and his wife, Carolyn, a few times. She always fed us when we were up there traveling. And even though he was long retired, he still loved his university. And North Dakota State, man, one of the best Division I AA football programs in America, very consistent. So I always kind of watch them knowing that we got a little Fargo blood there. That runs up there. So it's always kind of fun for that reason. Sam, what about the podcast, man? I just recently went with some new logos to kind of get things a lot more fluid, uniform, kind of had, for the different social medias and things. What are your thoughts? Be honest. You can always speak freely.
Very cool, man. I can't wait for the Charge to Keep podcast. That'll be great. Who was it? Chaz Hanna did some artwork for you.
Chaz Hanna, yes, yeah. Sir.
Hey, that was a great upgrade. We'll say, and yeah, I've been paying attention. I watch every week on the Get Home Safe. Like, I mean, you're my brother. I'm never gonna hug you. I'm never gonna tell you I love you, but I will watch all your podcasts.
That is our language right there. Absolutely. We can't be in the same room to do this. We have to do it from afar. But no, I try to tell Val this. She's always, I remember we had a family gathering somewhere and she's like, hug your father, hug your brother. I'm like, we don't do that. Like when the Rams won the Super Bowl, that's the exception, which we did. And had a great time that evening. Man, February 13th. What a night that was. And to get to watch Super Bowl with Dad, see them win it in our childhood living room. That was special, man. And we celebrated quite hard that evening, if I don't remember correctly.
Yeah, the entire game, it was actually about trying to stay sober enough to comprehend what was happening. And they kept it close and they made it very hard to stay sober.
Oh, I know.
I wanted to switch to whiskey in the third quarter. But I was really trying to stay with beer and
just stay right there.
Yeah, I was trying to stay sober-ish.
Then it's fourth quarter time, and it was like, okay, enough of this. I'm too nervous for this. And then the Rams ended up the defensive line of the Rams really took it to the Bengals in the second half. I thought won the game for the Rams outside of Stafford and Kupp being magical. But I mean, recent news, we won't make this all Rams, Sam, but Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in the league, in my opinion. Cooper Kupp, the best offensive non-quarterback, in my opinion. The Rams signed both of them to pretty mega deals. I don't know where the Rams are getting all this money, but they restructure it. And I was just happy to see that they signed those two dudes and they took care of the guys who really led the team all season last year.
Yeah, I agree. And in all honesty, I do want Odell Beckham back. It's really weird to say that, but I think he proved himself. I think he's a little misunderstood in some ways, and even me, like I didn't want him on the team, but
me neither.
But no. But I do hope they sign him back. Just as, like, you imagine if they sign him back, that's That
Well, and that's the
offense,
thing.
holy
That's the
crap.
thing. When they traded for him, I was like, he's a cancer. This is ridiculous. He fell in line. He performed. He was all about the we, not me that McVay preaches. The only reason he hasn't been signed is because he got the injury in the Super Bowl. So he's going to be out 6 or 7 months, whatever it is. I almost am, sounds weird. I'm almost happy for that because other teams are hesitant to sign him. And the Rams are like, look at, we're not sure what we can give you, but we'll make you a decent offer for the entire situation. So yeah, I agree. He would be cool to bring back. And think of how quiet he's been, even since the Super Bowl. He has been a completely different guy since he's come to the LA Rams. And I really got to hand it to the whole organization, but especially Sean McVay. You and I have had ups and downs with him, but you know what, Sam, he led a very talented group of guys to victory. And you can't say enough about the youngest coach in the NFL to win a Super Bowl. Or was that Tomlin? Did it become McVay? I think it was me.
I don't know that one.
Let's Google it.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Coach McVay? Did you see his wedding videos and thing?
Yeah, I saw Odell crashing that stuff right there. I think that was awesome.
That was great. It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
And he married himself a good fine woman. I will say that. But yeah, when it comes to Odell, like I agree with you there that, you know, like kind of like we might get a little break on price, or the Rams might get a little break on price, but he was on pace, dude. He was going to have a monster Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Before his injury.
Those 2 catches, the first touchdown, kind of a sick moonwalk. I don't know how you do that in cleats on turf, but that was awesome. And then that they love that drag route of clear everything and just get him in the open. And then he pops his knee. I'm just like, you're killing me. So let me see here. McVay joined select company. I think it was joining Mike Tomlin and John Gruden. So I think they were both young. Doesn't matter. Sean McVay is the Rams coach. He'll be here a long time. He's not going to be in that TV booth that they talked about. And what was the bigger play for you, Sam? Seeing Cooper Kupp catch that game-winning touchdown pass, or that 4th down play when you knew Donald was going to get there and make one of the biggest plays of his career?
It was probably Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that guy. What a beast.
Yeah. For me, like I'm defense, even though I only played, and I actually like recently, I actually researched recently, like how many tackles I had as a defender in high school. Just an interesting stat. I played 2 plays on defense in high school, 2 total plays. Guess how many tackles I got?
I'm going to go 1.5, a tackle and an assist.
I got 2.
2.
And I remember at the line of scrimmage too. I wasn't anything spectacular. Like, I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but like when the coaches wanted me to do stuff, I did it.
You're like, I could just see you like, give me 2 more. Let's go. That's right. Great.
I can block and tackle, mother.
Well, I want to ask you about this podcast more, but you know, the Charge to Keep podcast, I'm very excited about it. This can really go any direction. I really wanted it to have its own brand, its own platform. And I think it's going to be awesome to talk Rio Hondo football weekly, to get more of the alumni involved, whether it be a weekly show or just behind the scenes stuff. I mean, is there anything you'd like to see from the new Charge to Keep podcast?
I do like the check-in with Coach Mark Carson.
Yeah,
weekly. I do like that idea. What were your plans, like doing once a week or twice a week? Or
so the plan as of now is similar to last year's Get Home Safe podcast, to record with Mark Sunday, usually after the game, and either release it that night or like Monday morning or whatever. Maybe talk to some players as well. But before the season, I have some ideas that I'll bounce off you. As we get to August, I'll have Mark on weekly. But I also want to have a conversation with the Pasadena Poly coach in the summer. I want to talk to the Rio broadcast team, Kyle Horton and Clark Bollinger, because they do great work doing the Facebook Live videos. Talk to them about what fans can expect. And maybe talk up to some other RHP fans about, hey, who's your history of the players you've ever watched? Who's your toughest guys? Who's the most talented guys? Like, just to get conversation going as we build up to this August 26th kickoff of the season.
Yeah. I would like to see, like, a little conversation, maybe 20-minute, maybe like 15, an extra little 20 minute snippets of, fans, maybe other coaches,
Yeah.
little things like that. Just little, like, little tidbits, like 3-4 minutes a piece.
Great
I know
ideas.
that would be a little bit more difficult, and it would be a lot more editing, but that's something I would love to see.
Well, I think it's a great idea. And I'm trying, I think this year I'll be able to get to most of the games. And so my goal is to have, a few interviews before the game, interview Coach Carson at halftime, interview him and maybe some others after the game, just kind of a pre, half, and post little report there on Facebook Live, so that people who can't be there can almost feel like they're there more. And so that's kind of what some plans are with that. I'm just really excited about it all. And, the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep Football. What, Sam, has been, you're an avid listener to this podcast, who have been some people that have jumped off the page to you? Who've been some guests that you've really liked the past few months?
Yeah. Oh man, I got to give some love to Dale, man. I love
Dale Gardner.
I love Dale. Dale's my boy. You know that.
Yeah, Mr.
Me
Soul
and-
Train. Love him.
Me and him love that same type of music. You know what I mean? But yeah, his podcast was fun, man. And in only Dale fashion, the way he talks, like he could make anything sound fun. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Valerie Johnson. That was a good one. But man, the thing is, it's been so long that I forget what I watch.
Yeah. Well, to me, it tells me if you remember some people, but the way I receive it all is, okay, people like all of them, or most of them. So they don't always stick out as much because they're all kind of about the same or a little better here and there. So that's kind of a good thing, I guess, to have kind of all of them fit together.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of do. And I remember little tidbits from all of them. And obviously I remember Fred's, and he's over in Qatar right now getting his little stuff on over there. But
I would be so mad to travel that far for what are they, the World Cup preliminary thing, whatever, to go that far and not see your team score a goal in regulation. That's got to be tough. That's got to be tough. Much like the Rams in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
They didn't qualify, but man, soccer is a different animal, especially when you're not American. Like it's all about it's all about the pride of your country, and it's literally about going there. Like you saw it, you've seen his videos. Like,
oh yeah,
it was a party, man. Sorry, I'm stuttering because I'm trying not to swear right now, but it was a party. Like, and the way that I don't know, man, the way that each culture like celebrates and gets all in there for their country, that's something we don't have here anymore. Really. That's something that every other country is like better at now, which is funny because 20 years ago it was opposite.
Pride in America. Yeah, I do think that has kind of gone away a little bit. Looking at some of our previous guests here, Sam, since you've been on, some names, it would Tracy McFate, of course, Christmas
Tracy,
time.
man. Yeah.
Pete Clark, who coached you when one of your first coaches in care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good man, great podcast. I messaged him after his podcast and had a little conversation. Well, just a little quick conversation with him.
Yeah. Scott Weidman. Were you in Scott Weidman's class or Chris or
no, but
Mr. Heaton?
I was in Mr. Heaton's class, but I'm interested. I'm actually shocked because we had this thing that we did where it was what was the project? It was the best, what's the term for that? A penny saved is a penny earned.
Haiku or something, or
yeah, we had a class. You're gonna have to have him back on the podcast, and he'll explain that to you. If he's listening to this right now, he knows exactly what I'm talking about, because I had mine that I made up, and it was completely ridiculous. I didn't understand the project. He posted it. It was so ridiculous, but it was so, I don't know, he was intrigued by it or something, that he posted it in his classroom. And it was like actually on the wall. And he kind of was kind of like making fun of me, but it was all in good fun. I thought it
Yeah.
was great. But yeah, only if he's on, only he can tell that story. I can't tell that story.
We'll have to check that one out for sure. Well, Sam, this weekend is Father's Day, and I've kind of wanted to do this before. When you've been on, we've chatted about dad, but in honor of Father's Day, been my dad for 37 years, yours for 34, and we definitely have some memories, some funny moments, maybe some stories or moments of discipline even from our dad, but I don't know. When you think of dad, I mean, what comes to mind? So many things come to my mind, but I'll let you lead things off. What are your initial thoughts of our dad, Dave Heersema, on this Father's Day?
I think he's a man of morals. I think he sticks by him no matter what. That's something we don't see. We don't see it all in today's world. But like I'll tell you the type of person that dad is. Like, like one, like, I could tell stories about, when I was a kid, my birthday would come around. He'd always pick me up from school, and he would pretend like, hey, I gotta go do some, I gotta go to the bank, or I gotta go do something else. And really, he's taking me to the toy store. So like, and that became like a trend for like 4 years or something until I grew out of it. But
Yeah.
I think the best memory that I have of dad is, it was about 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, a water heater went out, and we didn't know what it was at the time. It was a Sunday. I was supposed to go to work the next day, and he was getting a little concerned. So, I took a day. I was like, you know what, dude, I'll take a day off. I'll take Monday off. If we need to go buy a new water heater, I'll go house with you, or, whatever, or I'll pay for it, whatever you need. If you're stressed about it, like, that's cool. Like, we got this. And the next day, he wakes up at 5 a.m, brews a pot of coffee, wakes me up at 6, says, okay, have at least 2 cups of coffee. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go out, and we're gonna figure this out. So we have 2 cups of coffee each, and we go to not Ace Hardware, it's a little hardware store nearby. And the guy there, he tells us one thing. He says, hey, well, you're probably going to have to get a new water heater. I don't know what to tell you, but you know what? I will come to your house and I will install it for you for just an extra $200. It's going to cost you $1,700, $1,800 or whatever. So dad goes, okay. Well, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. So then we go to Home Depot, and then they tell us the same thing. And then we get a little information out of them. It's a very, very long story. I'm sorry. There's a point to it. We get a little information out of them, and we end up figuring out, like, okay, it might be this. It might be a thermocouple, which is, it's common with water heaters. We're like, okay, cool. Then we go to another, like, water heater, like Glendora based place that's not even on the map. And we get a little more information out of them. Okay, so long story short, basically, we get all the information we need, and I'm just like, Dad, so we're gonna get a new water heater? We gonna do this? Are we gonna buy it? It's like, no, I think I can find the part number. And so we go home, we get on the internet. I help him. He starts researching online, and we find the part number. And then he's like, let's go to Azusa Wholesale. Great place, by the way. I endorse them.
Sounds like it.
We go to a wholesale house, big warehouse, messy warehouse. It looks like, I walk in, I'm just like, this place isn't going to have anything. Like, they have it, but they're not going to have any system that that can find this part. We walk in, dad is smooth as ever. He's like, hey, so how's it going? Like, like he starts working the room. He's like, hey, so do like, so we got a bad water heater right now. And I believe that this part number will fix it. And he writes it down. They look at it in their system. It's like, okay, yes, sir. I'll have it for you in 2 minutes. They go to the back, they bring it to us, $70. We end up installing it ourselves. And it was about, maybe 45 minutes to an hour of figuring it out, but we figured it out. And I think that sums up Dad to a T. We got when everybody was telling us like, no, you need to get a new water heater. You need to get a new water heater. Every single person that we went to, every single business we went to, it was about gathering information. He was never going to purchase a new water heater.
Yeah.
And we ended up finding a $70 part, and it's still working to this day. And it's 5 years later. We installed it ourselves. We did the work ourselves. Dad, our father is about doing things correctly. Like, you can go on YouTube, you can search how to do stuff like this, but he's about like doing things the right way and doing things the old school way. And that's my favorite memory of Dad, because what everybody was telling us would cost us $1,800 or $1,500 or whatever ended up costing us $70.
Yeah, he does find a way. He reminds me of the dad in A Christmas Story, that like level of passion that, that guy, everybody thinks that's who their dad is, but our dad, he actually like is able to deliver and come through with that guy's, what are the name, whatever their last names were in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has a passion. He almost takes it like, no, I'm not paying someone else to do this. Like it's a rite of passage. Now I don't have that gene. All of that was given to you. I hate fixing things. Maybe I'm scarred for life from working with him a few times, but Dad is patient. He will tell you I'm slow. I process things, but he is so detailed in his work. And that obviously stemmed from his time as an electrician. So
well, it's like driving too, learning to drive. That might be one of yours. I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes at all.
What do you mean?
Learning to drive. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My dear old dad, I was 16 and 50, and we had the Toyota Camry sitting right there for me. There was 3 cars in the house. That one was going to be mine to drive. And it was a stick shift. Now I can learn to drive a stick shift. I took pride in that, but Dad was very adamant. Like, hey, can we go practice in the automatic car? He's like, no, you're learning how to drive a stick shift. Yeah, real car, not one of those Prundles. And you know what? God bless Mom. I wasn't 16 yet, but I had a permit and I had practiced with Dad. And that was something, I don't know about your experience. Dad had more patience than Mom in driving. Yeah. Everything else on planet Earth, Mom had more patience, but when she was in the passenger seat with her son's driving, she could not tolerate it. So Dad, I was begging Mom, let me drive home from church one of those days on a Sunday. I just kept begging. And so she convinced my dad, and he said, he's not ready. And so finally he's like, fine, let him drive. So we drive home our first time. And I stalled so many times, but the worst stall was in the middle of Arrow Highway and Azusa because it was slightly uphill. And we're stuck. That. I stalled in the middle of the intersection, cars honking. My mom is just our mom's losing her mind. And we get out of there. And when we finally get out of that intersection, I just remember Dad kind of his luck shaking his head like, see, he was not ready.
The funny part was, dude, when you actually stalled with him, so you got to learn in the Camry. I had to learn in his truck, which was basically the same thing, but yeah. But when I was first learning, we were in a school parking lot, and the first few times I stalled, like when he had that look he has on his face, where it's like this is the rite of passage, and he laughs. He goes,
yeah, that's the one.
He just laughs at you. He laughs at you, and it was like he was the most patient person. I was like, really, I'm messing up your vehicle right now by stalling so many times, and he didn't care.
No,
he's like, I could fix this.
I can fix this. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn. When he saw that light bulb in our heads go off, that was very moment of pride for him. And to this. And then he made me take my tests, both of them. Yes, I failed the first time.
I was there for the first time you failed.
He made me take both in a stick shift.
You failed for going too slow. I remember correctly.
Too slow. It was a school zone.
In the rain.
It was raining. It was a school zone. I slowed down and I had this just evil instructor. He looked at me. He said, "Oh, there were no kids present, huh?" And he like marked me down for going too slow in a school zone. And so, yeah, famous story.
That dude. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do one more right here. That dude was a piece of fucking shit, man. I remember that dude. He actually wrote it. He wrote it down. So like, I think the speed limit, you were supposed to go, if it's raining, you're supposed to go 5 miles per hour below the speed limit. And he actually wrote that down, whatever it was. And then he crossed it off. And then he wrote like 10 miles an hour under the speed limit.
I saved it.
He was a bad person.
He was a very bad person.
That's all I'm going to say.
But memo to high school kids, never, and I mean never, ever, ever, ever tell your classmates that you're going to your driving test, because when you come back and you have not passed, it is like the worst feeling in the world. Tell them you're going to the dentist or something, and then bring back that license if you do pass, because every time I enter the classroom, man, you no, I didn't. What happened? I was driving too slow. What? It's just like, don't tell anyone you're going for that driving test. It's been 20 years. Yeah. 21 years. And I'm still mad about it. So yes, driving with dad. Hey,
great experience.
And I think we take him on the road with us every day till this day. Right. You know, with all the
like, you're not, his only critique is you're not going fast enough. You're not going to make this light.
Yes. Oh, now we have to wait here at this red light. Why? Well, all you had to do was step on it. Or my favorite is watch out.
I didn't even make it out of the driveway with mom.
Oh yeah, I know.
No,
no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. David, get out here. It's just like, what? Who are you? Why are you so terrified of us behind the wheel? Oh, it's so great. But dad, he's in the, it took me, I think I told him this one time. I go, because as soon as he was driving and we didn't have licenses yet, and as he's driving, and it would take 5 minutes before he'd start, calling out other drivers or complaining about something. And I was like, you know what? I think it's seriously been 30 years of my life of never being in a car with you where you didn't yell at some other car or complain about, oh, go people, let's go people. Like, or my favorite one, he'd do the whisper, come on. When you're at a red light, you're like 6 cars back and no one's moving yet. Come on.
No, mine, and the funny part is I do the exact same thing. Is my favorite one is if somebody is at the stoplight and they're like creeping forward, or somebody today, for instance, Orange County, great politics, bad drivers. We were in a left turn lane, but yield on a green, and they were sitting back behind the line. And I was like, would you go? And then right when it turned yellow, they went, so I couldn't go. So I had the same thing that dad does. Like, because of you, I'm going to have to wait an extra 5 minutes at this light, which is really an extra like minute and a half or two. But
because of you.
Because I use a lot more colorful language.
Yeah, I think I do too. Oh man, that's a funny question. Do you think people who don't swear, like, I don't know, pastors or ministers, do you think they swear in traffic? They have to. They're only human. I mean, it's like if you're in combat or something, there's times where you just have to let out certain, I don't know, exclamations. It's a theory of mine. I think even the holiest among us let out some severe swear words in, we'll say the California highways.
In combat, in bed, and in traffic, it's all good.
Oh boy, the Holy Trinity. Oh my goodness. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, so when Sam and I get together,
it's not the Charge to Keep podcast. Don't worry about it.
Another reason we needed separate platforms. I'm like, you know what? We need to separate Rio Hondo football from Bill Barnes and my brother. Let's just keep it over here. There's a time and a place for everything. Oh my goodness. But yeah, dad driving. I mean, we could do a million and one of those. I was with him when he bought his mom had just passed and he had to buy a new truck a year or so after. And I had a football game to officiate that day, but he brought me with him to show me how to negotiate, how to put your foot down. When they wanted, hey, so I won't give them details, but hey, can we see your ID or what? No, that is not my policy. I have my policy. I don't care how other people do things. Dad just took total control of the situation, which I've taken with me to be like, there's a moment, there's a time and a place where you need to set your foot down and be like, no. You don't tell me how things are going here. I say how things are going here. And so him buying that truck and then making him offer and then get up and shaking hands, I was just like, what just happened? This should, and I'm just sitting there like a fly on a wall going, wow, dad just bought a truck for way cheaper than they wanted for it.
And how fast, when he gets what he wants, regardless of what the system is, when he gets what he wants, what shocked me was how fast the handshake is.
Yeah.
He'll jump up and instantly. It's instant. It's within half a second. Okay, we can do that, Mr. Heersema.
Yes. And it's because it's just but that struck me too. It's the concept of whatever it is you want in life. If you're working at something and you get it or get close to it, don't be super stubborn to be like, oh, I can get even less payment, or I can get even more out of this. When you get what you have what you are striving for, boom, shake that hand, make that deal. Right. Don't think, well, I could. No. When you reach a goal that you have wanted to achieve, bam, celebrate it right there. And so that's something that I have definitely carried with me with dad, dad buying the truck. And I've bought in a few vehicles now in the past, and I'm not quite the gamesmanship guy he is, but you came with me on one when we bought what was that? My Camry now, right?
Yeah.
I said, I need my brother with me. I think the two of us can do this.
Yeah, that was a good experience. I remember I was at a service call actually down the street in Whittier. We're like, oh, come on by. All right, let me test drive this. I'm going to test drive the shit out of this.
Well, it's fun to negotiate when it's not you making the purchase. You were just very much like, nah, you were like my lawyer basically. And I was like, Sam, what do you care? He's like, this is fun. You're like, dad would do it or something like that.
Yeah, it is. And it is fun. And I think that's what dad actually instilled in us. Instilled in us. Yeah. Instilled in us. I think that, as much as there is to complain about life, there's still these little things you can still have fun with. You could still mess with other people. Yeah. And as long as you're messing, and that's what I live by. You've commented on it before. As long as I'm pulling one over on the man basically, I'm getting a lot of joy out of that.
Oh yeah. It's the little victories. I mean, otherwise, Halsey make this life tolerable. I remember first few, I think it was twice. Yeah. First few times dad was with me when I bought my first car. He co-signed, and then we ended up getting, I bought another car. He was there and helped me. And I remember the first time I bought a car without him, and it was I was in my, 20s, and it was like, I need my dad here. But at the same time, it was like, no, I don't. He trained me to do this on my own, and it's time for me to do that. And so I felt great pride when I called him later, said, hey, I just bought a car. I'm bringing it over. And, you show him, and he right around the block. He's like, oh, you did good. You did good.
Yeah. What do you always tell it? When I bought my truck, like I told him, I was like, I used his method and I altered it a little bit for myself. And he told me we were driving around in my brand new truck, 24 miles on it, and he was just like, oh, it's a great truck. He was like, he looks so,
Oh boy.
oh, hang on.
PG version.
No, he looks over at me. Actually, it's this one. But he looks over at me and goes, but you don't have a 4-wheel drive, huh? And then he looks at me. It's not stick shift and it's not 4-wheel drive. That's a man's truck.
Yeah, you're right, Dad. You're absolutely right.
You got a point, but I drive on the 405 every day, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. He keeps us sane in a lot of ways by just Dad is old school. And he always told us that he got away with murder when he was a teenager because his dad was out of the picture, and our grandmother, who we love dearly, the things he tells us about giving her grief as a teenager and riding motorcycles around and being loud. I mean, he kind of knew that he couldn't let us be too free, but he knew to give us the right amount of freedom at times to kind of earn more throughout the time of us growing up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always told him that I was his punishment for how he treated, because me, man, I got into a lot of trouble. We won't go into everything, but yeah, he always had a good mentality of raising us and teaching us in the old ways, and sounds like sacred and stuff.
No, but
it kind of is now. It kind of is now. The old ways don't exist anymore. Like smacking the shit out of your child. As you should.
I walked in the house one time and I think I said something like what's for dinner? I said something, it wasn't even that bad, but it was the manner in which I said it. Hey, what's for dinner? Or some mom said, oh, we're having this. And I was just like, oh, like I was like bummed by what we were going to have. And Dad, he probably had a rough day, but he snapped at me. He goes, you ungrateful little, I was just like, oh, you know what? You're right. I should really think before I speak. But it was just like, Dad always knew how to get straight to the point. He still, well, we won't say he does all the time, but when it involved us and no, that's wrong. Okay. That's all right. It's always boom, right to the point. You're an idiot. He
did the same thing with me. Yeah. It was I think it was something about leftovers. We were having leftovers.
Yeah.
And it was like this big, long lecture. And it was very intimidating. It was very scary, basically, about how you need to be grateful. You need to be grateful for what we provide for you. And then and then I think that night ended with, there was this applesauce on the table, and I love applesauce, always have, but it tasted weird to me that night. It really did. And I was just like, I can't have it. And he was like, no, because no. Because of your reaction, because different verbiage, but because of the way you reacted in the beginning, you're going to finish that applesauce. I don't care how long it takes. And we stayed up until 11 o'clock because I was as stubborn as him. I was just as stubborn as him. And then you know what he did? When he got tired, because I knew he had to wake up at like 4 a.m, like a man, he worked. He was like, okay. He was like, okay, you want to play this game? He wrapped cellophane over it. He put it in the fridge. He was like, I want to make sure you eat this in the morning when I wake up.
And he did.
Yep.
Sam, rise and shine. Like
tap, tap, tap.
Do not play games. Do not play games. I learned much more quickly than you. I don't know what it was about you, but your stubbornness. But I didn't like losing privileges. I didn't like, getting in trouble. What cracks me up, was it a PS4 or something, or PS2? No, Nintendo 64. He bought it for you and and put it in like a safe. And he's like, see that thing? That's as close as you're ever going to get to it or something.
No.
He spent the money just to be like, look, you're not getting this because I don't know what it was, grades or something.
It was grades. It was grades at that point. Yeah.
He told me, it was always because he just straight to, he helped us both with homework late at night and all this. And then he was just always very, is that your best? I say, oh, I got a B or I got a C. It was just like, and it was how he said it. It was like, is that your best? You'd say, yeah, whatever your excuse was. And he would just really directly say, he'd like pause and he'd say, I don't think that's your best. And it was just like that. And then he left it there. And you're just like stuck with this feeling like, I think he's right. It wasn't my best. How does he do that?
Yeah, so I was a little more difficult than you. He, for the longest time, he had to watch me do my homework. And, like there's something, and it's going to sound a little like unorthodox, but I know that I frustrated him to a point to where he would come home, get out of his overalls and open one beer, and he would have one beer while he was basically making me do my homework because I refused to do it. I didn't want to do homework. So his for the longest time, like the smell of the one beer he had, Amber Bach, by the way, was the beer of choice at the time. And the smell of that, like, it scared the crap out of me. But
he's just looking over you.
But now I know, like, when that smell, like one day that's going to be the smell that I want. That it's going to remind me of him. Same thing as Brute body spray.
Yeah. Brute body spray.
Brute deodorant. Sorry.
Well, no, but I don't know. It's these vivid memories and like feelings and sounds and smells. Like for you, it was the smell of to me, like, cause I went through a similar thing with, not doing great at homework early on and I got better at it. But that sound of when he'd take a sip, but this sound when he'd put, it would hit the table, not loudly or aggressive, but just like put it down, like, okay, almost like a judge starting off, a court service,
like a grand statement.
Yes,
like a grand statement. All right, listen up, motherfucker.
Here we go. Here we're starting this. Like, let's go. Let's get this done. Let's do the darn thing, as he would always say. But what was I was just thinking of something. Again, so many memories, they all run together. Well, one thing that I will always, I think I've expressed it before, but I'll always really appreciate about Dad is when I was in college, I had was just trying to finish up college. It was killing me. I wasn't feeling great. I was down and sad. And then I broke up with a girlfriend who I was with a few years that I was devastated. And, you're vulnerable and in my early 20s and didn't think I was going to finish college. And Dad, actually, I was living at our house, and Dad mailed me a handwritten letter that he wrote at work. And he could have handed it to me. He could have, we didn't do email back then, but he put a stamp on it. He mailed it to our house, addressed to me. And it was just a letter, a couple pages talking about life and breakups and everything happens for a reason. And there's so many bigger things. It was so well written. I've never read it to anybody, but I still have that letter. And that was back in 2008. And I have it in one of my very private possessions. And it means a lot to me because Dad has always been someone who has been intense, to your words, aggressive, just a right to the point kind of guy. But in that moment for me, I saw a different side of him, one that was, and Dad's very caring, but it was a side that was very, very concerned, but also uplifting. It was just so many things that he continues to be today, but I was at a very difficult point in my life at that time. And had he not written that letter to me, the manner in which he did, I don't know the direction in life I would have gone. I mean, that singular moment to me was probably one of the most important memories from my early adulthood.
Yeah, I remember when he did that. Still, to me, never saw the letter, but I knew he wrote it. He stayed. Hang on, give me a minute. He stayed up that night. He stayed up that night and actually still woke up early for work.
Yeah. Well, and that was saying, ultimately, and a lot of people have these memories of their parents, but our dad, he was always gone before the sun rose, and he would usually come strolling in as the sun was going down. Those were his work hours. He'd occasionally see us at Rio, for on his way home. We were fortunate that we were kind of on the way home from his commute. But yeah, that was our dad, that dreaded alarm, that I would hear at 4:30 and be like, why is it so loud? You got to go to work. We don't have to. Like, what are you doing to us?
Yeah. And still to this day, like if I ever have to come home from that direction, I'll take his way. There's a specific way to take. You know that way.
His way. Yes.
Yeah, his
Dad
way.
has a reason and a system for everything. He has specifically a specific route that he can avoid people and stoplights as much as possible. And it could be to Wingate Park. It could be home from Rio Hondo Prep. It could be to the grocery store. He has mapped all this out over his entire life as to taking, it's not always the most direct route. It's the less crowded route.
and quite faster. And quite faster. And we'd go through like 6 different neighborhoods.
Yeah, no. And you roll your eyes, but like, I find myself doing the same thing sometimes. I'd be like, oh no, there's a light up here. I don't want to get caught in that. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, we do turn into our parents, but it's training. It's if it was dumb, we wouldn't do it. It actually made sense,
No, come on. I do that at left-hand turn signals still. Come on. Go. Come on. I want to make the light. Okay. Are you stupid? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, Sam, something that Dad is really, really good at, and I think it goes back to his details and like paying attention to little things, is cooking, specifically barbecuing. But even when Mom was out of town and we didn't go to one of the 3 restaurants that we always went to when she was out of town, Round Table Pizza, Wiener Schnitzel, what was another one? We went to
El Amigo, man.
El Amigo, of course, which has changed. It'll never be the same again. That place was heaven on earth, and now it's
they
ruined it.
Yeah, the guy they used to have a cook that would stare at you like he wanted to kill you when you walked in. He's gone now.
So I miss that guy. I really miss that guy. But dad's killer at the barbecue, but he could was as kids, fried egg sandwiches. He was pretty good in the kitchen, but his true talent was the barbecue, and not one of those gas powered propane ones, charcoal, baby. And you cooked more with him than I have. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we don't do charcoal, and we also don't do a marinated tri-tip.
You do charcoal. You don't do.
No, we do charcoal, and we don't do marinated tri-tip. My apologies. Sacrilegious, man. But yeah, marinated tri-tip is not the same. It doesn't taste that great. You have to do a dry rub. It has to be the Santa Maria barbecue, and it has to be overnight.
Dry rub. I think your mic should be fine. I think you were fine earlier. Yeah, I'll let you know. But no, it's the dry rub, the juices you get. And it's typical. If you can do it, Dad gets giant pounds of tri-tip usually. If you can do it, even a couple days of not marinate, but seasoning with the dry rub, and rotate it and play and do it a couple days, a couple nights. Let it get some sleep,
Yep. Yeah, if you haven't experienced it, then you should.
Yeah. And I remember our first Thanksgiving, without Mom, we were like, why can't we do tri-tip? And he got tons of them. We always have done that for Thanksgiving and other big holidays, and we'll probably be doing something like that this weekend. Now, is it odd to put dad like at the head of the grill on his day, or is it kind of like it's his right to be able to do that?
I'm going to let him decide. I'm going to try to do it myself, or we're going to try to do it ourselves. But I think that, like as your father, you always need to seek approval. Dad, am I doing this right? Because like he does do it the best, That's
Yeah.
just how it is. That's just how
And
it
he's-
is. We
he
we
is,
might do
yeah.
we might do tri-tip. We might do. He's been talking a lot about how T-bone steaks have apparently gone out of existence in grocery stores. So
I haven't seen any good, because if you're gonna do a T-bone to me, you want a nice big one. You don't get.
yeah,
Yeah, I've done a lot of sirloins and New York cuts. I go boneless usually, but no, you need that. You need that T. You need that big T-bone in there because it adds the juices and I'm getting all worked up already. I'm excited for Sunday. I'll be there at 9 a.m. Let's do this.
yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. Like I tried to go for about 8 or 9 months. I kind of, what's the term? Pescatarian, where you only eat fish, basically.
Oh, I
You-
thought you were talking about something else, but okay. No, I'm just kidding. Interesting.
You heard it
Okay.
here on the Get Home Safe podcast. Matt likes fish.
Oh, you're the worst. You are the worst. I like red meat. I'm a big fan of steaks
Yeah.
and tri-tip, but
Yeah.
fish is good too. Fish is good too. So were doing fish only. Did you cook a lot of it, or were you doing like sushi? What were you doing?
No, I cooked a lot of it. It was interesting, but and I felt for a little while I felt cleaner. I felt like a little like the body felt cleaner, but after a certain amount of time, man, like it was like a switch flipped, and like my body was just craving red meat. So I've been on a red meat craze since. It's just been like I've been almost on the Joe Rogan diet, like red meat, like carnivore diet and fruit. That's what I've been on lately.
Hey, that's
Well,
how
and-
we're intended. And oat,
whiskey.
or what is it? Grains.
But there's no carbs in here.
No carbs in whiskey, of course, for health reasons. So no, dude, that makes sense. If you think about it, that's how, like, if you were out in the woods by yourself, you'd probably eat, things off the tree and then, kill this thing and cook it. And there you go.
Yeah. So that's my diet right now. So I'm going to try to get some T-bone steaks. And
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Enjoy
Every
it.
time we get together, it's always just meat. We don't worry about other things. It's just meat. It's just like, well, aren't you guys? No, we're good. A lot more meat. Seconds. And of course, libations.
Don't you need sides? Don't you need some vegetable? No. No.
No, that's
No.
that's when you take a piece of meat and you put it on the side of you. There you go, right there. That's our side. What you mentioned Rogan, Sam, you're someone you text me here and there about different podcasts you've tuned into now that you don't just listen to mine, but you become more of an avid podcast listener over the past few months.
Well, yeah, ever since they tried to cancel Rogan, of course I'm going to listen to him.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got some great. He has a great mindset, and I really like it. Like he's really been helping me out with like getting back to the gym, and the pandemic screwed us all over. But yeah, I like his mindset about everything. And like basically, like something that he said recently like really resonated with me, and it got me back in the gym. It was like it's about
He's
open.
open. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's about conquering that. Like when you go to the gym, like it's about conquering that inner bitch. That's his words, not mine. I'm not swearing. He's like, it's about conquering that inner bitch, and we all have it. So like at the end of your workout, you're just like, yeah, all right, bitch, see you tomorrow. Like, and I like that mindset, man. It gets me in a different like zone. It gets me ready to go, man. Like I like his mindset, and he's somebody that was attacked by cancel culture, that don't realize he's actually like he's really left.
Yeah.
Always
Oh, of
has been.
course.
Always has been.
Yeah.
So like it kind of shows the hypocrisy, I guess.
No, they eat their own unless you buy into everything and go all the way super left with everything, then you're just wow, destroy them. It's like what, because he had differing opinions from people on his podcast? That's literally what his show is about. And if
Yeah.
it is differing opinions of doctors and anyway, we don't have to get into all
No.
of it, but like, yeah, I've been a fan of his because he leans different ways on certain things, but a lot of what he said, it's just a conversation. Like he kind of, well, Adam Carolla is kind of the OG, but Joe Rogan, those two, I mean, just
Yeah.
a one-on-one conversation, which is kind of what I try to do on Fridays, although nowhere near like he does. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah, he has a good concept about Austin. He was just like, yeah, it's like there's a different culture here of everybody, and everybody's accepted, but it's kind of like California, except everybody has guns.
that sums up Austin. Yeah, dude, I've been to Austin. Yeah, it is California. It is the bluest part of Texas for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's funny how you move to a state where you kind of like their ideals and you like the people and you like the laws and the taxes of all that, of course, but then you may not vote that way. But that's a separate subject. Most people escape something, they leave it behind. Other people don't always. But anyway, I like his pod. He talks to a lot of comedians, which are great, UFC guys, which are great. Who are some other podcasts that you've tuned into kind of maybe not every week, but tend to show a little interest in?
Honestly, man, it's only him.
That's your guy.
Because I can't keep up with him.
Yeah, it's 3 hours, so you need to spread that out throughout the day.
Yeah, so but I will give a shout out to a comedian right now. Ali Sadiq. Ali Sadiq is my guy.
Okay.
That guy's awesome.
Check it out.
Listen to both of his podcasts. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast at least twice.
Sweet.
His mindset is pretty much like mine.
It's a scary thought. Sam, I would say of all the people on my podcast, you're kind of like my NBA consultant, I guess. Not many people watch it, but you do. And I'll be honest, I've seen a little here and there. And what do you make of this NBA finals we've seen so far? As we record this prior to game 6, the Warriors are up 3-2 on those dreaded Boston Celtics. What do you make of the series?
To me, it's hard to hate either team.
To me, it's easy to hate either team. But go ahead.
You can't. Yeah, you can't really root for Boston as a Laker fan. Can't really ever happen. But they got Brad Stevens as president of basketball operations for Boston. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe.
something like that.
Their coach drives me nuts though with this fucking mask. Like he's wearing it under his chin every goddamn game. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Who are you benefiting right now?
He's saving lives.
It's a virtue signal. Yeah. But that's for a later debate. I do like all of Boston's players. I like Jason Tatum. He's a Kobe disciple. I like Al Horford. He really does, man.
I like Horford. So even since his Florida days,
yeah, he's deserved a title for a long time. He's one of those good guys, but he's one of those guys that calms the rest of the team down. But Golden State, they adjusted the way they adjust, and everybody hates Draymond Green, man. I love Draymond. I've always loved Draymond.
He's a guy you want. He's a guy you want on your team.
Yeah, he'll talk shit. He'll talk shit to you. He'll get into your head, and he'll make it happen. Like everyone's giving Steph shit about this last game, about how he went cold and everything. No, he adapted. He got 8 assists. He's a scorer and decided, I don't have it tonight, so I'm gonna get some assists. So I think the Warriors are great. I'm not a fan of Steve Kerr anymore for obvious reasons. We won't go into that.
Yeah.
But I I think the Warriors are going to take it in Game 6.
Yeah, I do too. As we record this much prior to that. But yeah, I think years ago when the Warriors, they were on their dynasty run and then they got injured. Durant ended up leaving. There was this moment at this gap in time where it's like, oh, they'll never get back. And so for them to kind of do that and get back to the promised land, it is pretty, I mean, you could see it coming. A lot of people were like, can they do it or not? But to me, I was like, well, who else is going to do it? No one else is up to the task. And so it's interesting to see that climb that they've risen, climbed the mountain really from having to go all the way back down to ground zero,
Yeah. They're back. What can you say?
Yeah.
And
it pains me.
It's a big middle finger to Kevin Durant, which
I know.
I used to love Kevin Durant, but now he's a whiny baby.
No, he used to just be quiet and play the game. He's just so dramatic. I don't do dramatic. I don't do dramatic, and look at me, and like he's turning a lot more like LeBron. Anyway, this podcast is not about the NBA players. It's about Dad. And about
the NBA playoffs. It's about the NBA playoffs. Let's keep talking.
Well, if they force a Game 7, it would be on Sunday, and there'll be baseball on to watch, College World Series. There'll be an NBA. I mean,
there'll be a barbecue happening.
And we're talking early too. I mean, we may not make the game, that's for sure. We're starting early, and we're gonna celebrate Dad all day long.
No.
But as long as he doesn't put us to work, that's always you like that stuff.
I like it. It's progression.
Progression.
Yeah, not in the political sense.
I don't like building things. I don't like fixing things. I don't like projects. Very minimal.
I like taking something that is ugly and making it beautiful, just like this podcast.
That's not bad. See, you need to be back on here more than once every 10 months.
Yeah.
I think the people enjoy it. So
we'll find out. We'll find out on Friday. I'm gonna get like 2 views.
2 views? No, you get more than that. I think people enjoy the banter. I'm not saying every week. I'm not even saying every month, but let's shoot for every 2 months. What do you think?
2 months? Yeah, it's good for me because
I know it is.
Yeah, I'm not good at talking, but I'm good at talking on this podcast.
You're better than you think. No one else I'd rather watch a game with than you for many reasons. But man, we got 2 months now until football season gets going again. So we're gonna have to take some time off, maybe invest in some television shows or whatever else. But we're getting closer to that September kickoff that you and I both love.
Yeah, we're almost there. I do want to go back to a last week's earlier in the week's podcast for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make something very clear.
Oh no.
Fuck Tennessee. Fuck Tennessee baseball. That dude's a little bitch, dude.
You saw that and liked that, huh?
Yeah.
It's funny to hear this from a
You're
non-official.
You're whining.
Oh, I know.
You're whining.
I know.
And you're looking at the umpire like he did something wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
See, this education to you has been firsthand to see it from a civilian. This is beautiful. This is why I do it, to get those type of reactions.
Yeah. I mean, it's real though. It's real.
It's true. No, it's true. And that's what was trying to say without saying it exactly like that. So perfect. Thank you. You're my translator.
You're welcome. I can translate to the newer generation.
Anyway, Father's Day this Sunday. Dad, David Allen Heersema, thank you so much for putting up with Sam and I, and to many more years of arguments and laughs and all of the above. I think we got a lot more fun ahead, and whenever the three of us get together, it's quite a good time, and I'm looking forward to Sunday. Sam, Father's Day weekend.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. You made me the man I am today.
Oh, don't blame him for that.
No,
that's not his fault.
It's his privilege.
His privilege. Dad, thank you. Happy Father's Day. We love you. And we will have some fun this Sunday. Can't wait. Well, a big thank you as always to my brother, Sam Heersema, for coming on the podcast. And I'm definitely having him on much sooner than the long delay we had here, about 10 months between his podcast. I definitely want to have him on every year for Father's Day and maybe some other significant dates if I can convince him to jump on here. I thought he did a great job and just fun catching up. And hopefully, again, you guys get to see the little banter Sam and I have. It's been great over the years. We've become so much closer over our adult years, and just love hanging out with him. He gets me, I get him, and we can tell each other anything. And we're just so excited to talk about our dad, our good old dad here on the pod. We got to do that before a little bit here and there, but this was dedicated to him, and I hope he enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed talking about him. Hopefully, he's a little embarrassed. You get to be a little embarrassed. Come on, that's our job now too. You embarrass us plenty all those years ago. So it's our opportunity to chat about you a little bit. So Dad, in all seriousness, thank you for everything. And we will raise a glass and definitely eat some good red meat on Sunday. Happy Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And again, not just to the fathers out there, but to those who are fathers, to those who maybe don't have dads, or those who step up with stepchildren, and just to everyone who is a father figure out there. Thank you so much. Cheers to all of you. It's a special day. It's a special weekend. And the world needs fathers, men, to be leaders and to help shape young boys into young men and help young ladies become strong women. So thank you to all the fathers out there. It's a special day. Middle of June, kind of a perfect time to barbecue and just celebrate dads out there. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into this special edition of the Get Home Safe podcast. A couple more episodes left here in the next couple of weeks, I should say. Our 4th of July episode is going to be a lot of fun. I forgot to talk to Sam about that. Someone who we both will enjoy listening to. Once again, a perfect guest for our 4th of July episode that will air on July 1st. You guys don't want to miss that. That's only a couple of weeks ago. I promise. Couple of weeks away. I promise you that you guys will love that. It'll be very fitting for the Independence Day weekend. But until then, guys, I'll be here next week on Tuesday. I'll try to have a guest on Friday. And as always, Tuesdays are just me, just my opinion Tuesdays, my opinion Mondays, whenever the episode does get out. And then Fridays, a long form conversation with someone here on the podcast, like I did today. Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to podcasts, we should be there. Our YouTube channel, if you want to watch this podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Get Home Safe Pod or Get Home Safe Podcast, one of those two, we should pop up. And of course, if you have an email you want to send to me, gethomesafepodcast@yahoo.com. Send in a voice message. If you look at the bottom of the episode notes, you should see a link there where you can do so. So a lot of options, a lot of ways to follow the podcast, communicate with us here on the pod, and just so thankful and so grateful for the great listenership out there. So many great people who tune in every week and give me great feedback. It's truly an honor to jump on here every single week and hopefully bring you some quality content, and we can keep this thing going. Also, check out the new upcoming podcast, A Charge to Keep, the Real Hondo Prep Football podcast that will continue on here in the middle of the summer and build up to the opening of the high school football season and continue weekly from there. So that's it for me, guys. I appreciate all of you. Enjoy your weekend. Be good to your dads out there. Hey, get that grill going. And say thank you and to those fathers out there, because they deserve it for all of their hard work. So happy Father's Day, Dad. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or around in third base, get home safe.